The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter is made possible by a contribution from AEG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the daughter.
Megan, we're going to be a little artsy today.
We are. We're going to be playing Atelier, the painter studio, and this is from AEG.
Yeah, this is a game that has dice, so I'm going to probably like it.
Yeah.
It's also got a little bit of area control, so there's a little bit of take that because you can kind of mess with other people because we have these itty little student dudes.
Yep.
Because they're students.
Students. And they have Van Gogh paintings, which I love.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Really cool artwork. I mean, it's, the actual masterpieces. Yep. So check out our playthrough, and then we're going to tell you what we think of it.
Okay.
So we are going to be collecting paints and painting regular paintings and masterpieces. Now we have 7 paintings out here. The difference between a regular painting and a masterpiece is the masterpiece has this little star right there. The paintings, basically, they have a requirement. It's going to tell us how many of each color we need. In this case, we need 2 blue and 2 yellow. And we also have to return one of our students back to our supply. And we'll talk about the students in a minute. This shows the number of victory points that it's worth, and then any special bonus that we have, and the basically the category of the painting. There's 4 different categories, I believe.
Yes.
There is impressionist, post-impressionist, realist, and romantic. Did I get them all right?
Yes.
Hey! The way we're going to collect paint is we're going to be placing our students in front of each of the paint piles. Now you'll see we have blue, yellow, green, and red. And the way this works is whoever has a majority of their colored students in front of those paints, when they roll a 4, they are going to be able to take paints that they have the majority from. Now each player is going to have a player board that looks like a paint palette, and we've got various sections on the board. So we're going to be placing our spent dice here, and then the color paints are going to go on each of those. Our students are going to go into this space, and then it gives us a little player aid that tells us what we're going to do. So we have 4 dice, and when we roll these dice, this is going to tell us what each of the values is going to allow us to do. So if it's a 1 or 2, we're going to be able to place a student in front of one of the paint piles. A 3, we're going to be able to move one student, either your own or an opponent's, to a different paint pile. On a 4, you're going to collect paint where you have the majority in front of the paint pile. If you have a 5, you can paint a painting. And if you have a 6, you can get any one paint regardless of if you have majority there or not. We also have inspiration tokens. Spending 1 inspiration token will allow you to re-roll dice. And Megan is showing you what that looks like there. It is a silhouette of a student with a beret on. If you spend 2 inspiration tokens, you can paint a painting and not worry about having a 5 dice roll. Or if you spend 3 inspiration tokens, you can draw a Patron Card. Now, the Patron Cards are important because they give you end of game bonuses. So each player is going to start the game. They're going to be dealt 2 Patron Cards. They're going to flip them over and they're going to look, and you're going to see which bonuses that you want to go for here. Now, you're going to keep one, and then the other one is going to be returned to the bottom of the deck. So you can see they're going to give you victory points based on certain conditions, either the number of paintings you have for colored paints, the number of sets that you have for the types of paintings they are, or in some cases, other things like what you see here. I think I'm going to keep this one. And then this guy is going to go back to the bottom of the deck. And Megan, I'm not going to look at Megan's.
The one I'm not keeping.
Oh, that's the one you're not keeping?
Yeah.
So you can see each player is going to start with 4 dice. First player is going to get this first player token. And then when a player has painted their 3rd masterpiece, then that's going to trigger the end of the game. We're going to have 1 other turn after that, but whoever triggers that is going to get this little token, which is worth 4 victory points at the end of the game.
It looks like the little photo frame from Friends, I think.
Does it?
I think so. The little yellow frame. If you
Put
it the other way.
Like
Yeah,
that.
that way, yeah.
Around the peephole on the door. See, I never watched Friends.
Yeah, I don't really either, but at least I know that.
Okay. So, Megan, let's roll a die to find out who's going to go first.
Okay.
I got a 4.
4.
And let's roll again. Whoops. I'll re-roll that since it popped out of my thing here.
1.
Okay, so because I have a 4, I will be first player. So I'll get the first player marker. Now, Megan, as the last player, is going to be the first player to actually place one of her students in front of one of the paint piles.
Put one in front of the green.
Okay, and then I will get to go and, wow, I'm going to put one in front of yellow.
Okay.
And that's really all there is to the setup. All right, so we will collect our dice and we'll get ready for our first turn. Okay, so as first player, I'll roll all my dice, and I don't have a very good roll there.
Not really.
And I don't really want to spend my inspiration token right away. So what I'm going to do is, you always have to play at least one die. So I'll play the 4. I look to see where I have majority. I only have majority in the yellow, so I will take a yellow paint. Now, I could actually play all 4 of my dice if I want to, but I'm going to choose to hold off and pass, and then it goes to Megan.
All right. Do a 2, a 1, and we'll do that as well. And that'll be it.
Okay, so when you have unused dice at the end of your turn, your next turn, you're going to re-roll those. That's why I didn't want to keep those. And I rolled all placement numbers. I think I'll go ahead and I'm going to place one.
Wait,
Whoops.
what was this? What the heck are you doing?
Wrong, dude.
I think you're sniffing the paint fumes a little bit too much there.
The fumes.
Got to.
I'll go ahead and I'll place one guy there. And you know what? I'm going to hold.
Okay. I got a 6, so again.
You can take a paint of any one that you'd like.
Take a yellow.
Yeller.
I'm done.
All right, so I'll go ahead and roll that last one. I have a 3.
Move, student.
We're going to move you.
It doesn't have to be me. It could be you.
It could be
You
me,
can
but
move yourself to get majority.
why would I do that? I already have majority.
I'm just saying.
We're just going to move you over there.
That's fine.
I know, you're kind of like that. All right, so we've all used all of our dice. First player token gets passed,
Thank
and we clear our board, and now it's Megan's turn.
Hooky. Gonna move you there. And that's it for that turn.
All right. Whoa.
You cannot roll in
They-
your own tray.
They want to pop out.
You're like doing it too forcefully.
Is that what it is?
Every time we've played this game, you always have dice that like are getting chucked at me.
Chucked at
They
you.
use the tray as like a bouncing off point.
I will place a student. And once you run out of students on your board,
That's it.
So
That's why
we've
it's
never,
important to kind of keep track of maybe you might want to get some back.
yeah, we've never really had an issue with that.
No.
I'll place them there. And do I want to grab paints? You know what? I think I'll grab. Let's see. I guess I should look and see
I was
what I'm
gonna say,
going
which
for.
one do you really want? There's some good paintings.
Bump. I will take a green.
Okay. You can move and you can gain a paint if you still choose to.
You know what? I'm gonna use that 3. I'm gonna move you over here.
That's fine. I guess.
I'm gonna hold off on that.
Okay. We'll place a student here.
They're just students.
Nice students. Move that one back there. And then 4, we will collect paint. Grab one. Let's do it.
Oh, you're cheating there.
I was just like, wait, I'll grab as many as I have. Then I was like, wait a second.
All right, I got a 6.
That would be nice, but that would also be a little bit unfair.
I'm gonna grab a
If you
green.
grabbed like as many students as you had paint.
All right, so that's the end.
Yep.
Comes back to me. I'll roll my dice. Okay.
I have a feeling we're
It's in the
going
corner.
to paint the same painting based on the paint we're going for. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling.
Are you hooked on the feeling?
I don't know.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint
Paint
this.
that one.
So that's my 5, and that's gonna cost me 1 yellow and 1 green.
What
It's going to give me 4 points. It says, when painted, starting with me,
Mm-hmm.
each player in turn order places one of their students. Then I get to place one additional.
All right.
So I think I will go ahead. I'm going to place one here at the yeller. And I get to place an
Can I
additional.
put another one there?
I'm going to put another one there.
Jeez.
Everybody wants the yellow.
Okay. Still got dice.
I still have dice. I could place more students.
You could.
I'm going to use my 3. I'm going to move a student over there.
Okay.
And
I
I
really want yellow.
think I am going to hold.
Okay.
This painting, this is the Young Ladies of the Village.
Who's it by?
Gustave Courbet.
Okay. Where's it at?
Young Ladies of the Village was painted in 1851 to 1852. It's at the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
So it's in the Met Gala.
And that is in New York City, right?
Yes, it is.
New York
You
City.
could also rob the Met if you really want to at a charity event like they did in Ocean's 8. I really enjoy that movie. I'm gonna just go ahead and collect just green, and might as well go ahead and grab that yellow since you got majority there. So I'm
Right.
done.
You're totally done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a 6 and a
You
5.
can paint. You can't paint anything, just the one. Some of these paint titles are like, you know, oh, it's really nice, and then there's this one. Friar Pedro shoots El Margato as his horse runs off.
Oh.
It's like, you know, distant view of Niagara Falls.
And that's kind of a
very
different
pretty.
one because of the different
It's
point value.
it's worth 1 VP for each of your non-masterpieces. That's why it's like a wild.
Non-masterpieces.
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention is any dice, if you don't want to take the action, you can spend it and get an inspiration token.
Yes.
So that's how you get more inspiration tokens.
It just cracks me up. This one's in Chicago though, Art Institute.
So I think I'll use my 6.
We could go see that one.
We could go see that.
Some guy shooting at someone.
And I think I'm going to grab a red. And that will be, oh, you've already used all your
Yeah,
dice, so I'm gonna stop, but now I get to go again and re-roll, and I got a 4.
Collect paint.
I could collect paint. The only problem is I can only collect a blue.
Oh, you get a blue.
That's,
Or you could re-roll if you really want to.
yeah, but I don't want to spend that, so
Might
I
as
think
well.
I'll just take a blue.
All right.
And this will go back to you.
You. See, my dice stay in my tray. I don't know why you got.
I have a bounty tray. I have a Tigger tray.
I mean, you do. Jeez. We'll go ahead and do yellow there since you keep going there. Go ahead and do that one. And we'll move that guy over there. That's it.
Okay.
Redistribute my students.
Your students. They're just students.
It's gotta be students.
It's got to be students. I'm waiting for the first person to comment. They know what that quote
I
is.
feel like they won't though. I don't know.
Boy, I really wish I had something different here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to spend my 1. I'm going to put a dude there.
I feel like we need to do a rewatch for all those.
I'm going to spend a 2.
I haven't done that in a
And I'm
while.
going to put another dude there. Wow, everybody's congregating in the yellers.
No,
So that gives me majority there. I have majority in blue.
Are you collecting?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to collect a yellow and a blue.
Yep. You could paint. You want to paint something on?
I don't know. Do I
You
really
can
want to paint?
this one with one of each,
Could
or
paint.
you can do this one with the wild.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that one.
You
I think I'm
could.
going to do that.
Okay.
So that's going to be a yellow, a red,
And a green.
and a green.
Yep.
So there's a yellow, a green, and a red.
There you go.
So yeah, Megan said this was Friar Pedro shoots El Magado as his horse runs off, which is hilarious.
Well, what's the icon?
The icon is a rose.
The
Romantic.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's romantic.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do have to return one of my guys.
It's in the romantic era, but that's a.
I guess I'm going to return.
Alright. See this one?
This
This one
guy.
I can tell. Like that's romantic. That one's a little bit more naturey, but that one.
So this,
All right.
like Megan pointed out earlier, at the end of the game, this is worth 1 VP for every non-masterpiece painting that I have. So
You're done, right?
yeah, I'm all out of dice.
And that one's 5. Paint to painting. I do not actually want to do that yet. So
You can take an inspiration
I
token.
think I will. Yeah.
You're the inspiration. It's a
Yeah.
Chicago song.
Okay. I don't like Chicago.
You don't like Chicago.
I don't like their music.
Chicago's good.
Eh,
Okay, I got a lot
not
of.
my thing.
Not your thing.
Not my thing.
It's not my bag, baby.
What?
Austin Powers.
Okay.
Let's see. I've got a couple of 6s. I think I'm going to use a 6. I'm going to take a red.
Okay.
And
You're gonna paint something.
I think
else?
I'm going to use a 6 and I'm going to take a green. Just because I don't have a majority in those. I think I'm going to stop there.
Okay. Yeah. We will place a guy there.
It gives you majority in the yellers.
Add meeples.
Wow. That's the first time you've ever run out of meeples, isn't it?
Is
Your students.
students. We're gonna save that one.
Okay. Roll these and a 4 and a 2. You know, I'm gonna just spend that and I'm gonna take an inspiration token.
Okay. You gonna collect your paint, or
No, I'm gonna
you
hold.
can't actually. You wouldn't be able to collect anything.
You're right.
And I go to. Can't do that. I'm gonna reroll.
That almost popped out. Would you get a 2?
Yeah, I can't. So like, come on. Yeah, that's what I wanted. No, it's actually not, but it's fine. I'll take it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, let's get you 3
Gets me
paints. That's actually
yeah,
pretty good.
I'll do it. Okay, I'm out.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
I
roll
want
it.
5. Is what I really
I
want.
got a 1.
Oh, I could have used my 2 dudes to paint a painting instead of re-rolling.
You could have.
Ugh,
I'm just gonna take an inspiration token.
missed out.
And then I'm going to spend all 3 of those.
Draw a patron.
And I'm going to draw a patron card
Ah.
just because I want some different in-game things.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
5. Hey, I got a 5 finally. Cool. 3 and 3.
Ooh,
11
11
pointer.
pointer.
Yep. The race's Longchamp. When painted, gain a paint or an inspiration token. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a blue because I don't have a blue, and then I get 2 of my meeples back, so which is what I need. We'll go ahead and move that guy there, and that's it. We'll hold off.
Okay. Wow.
We got a Van Gogh on the table there. I'm happy.
Is that the true pronunciation?
Van
Is it
Gogh.
Van Gogh?
Well, yeah, 'cause he's like Dutch.
Well, yeah, but everybody says Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Let's do 3. We're going to
Well, that's
move
how
you there.
Bill Nye said it.
Bill Nye. The
Not
science guy.
the science guy.
Bill,
The other one.
Bill. Let's spend another 3 and move you over here.
What? Okay. You're still giving me majority, so that's fine.
I think I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
for this bit.
3 and a 6. I don't want to do that. I don't know if I'll do that. Oh, actually, I'll move that guy there. That'll be it.
Okay. I got a 4 and a 2.
So you can collect paint, which you can't. Or you could place a student, which you might want to do, and then collect paint.
Well, I'm going to place, and I'm going to place one here.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold.
5. Paint
Okay.
painting.
You got a lot of paint over there.
I do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just because I really want to paint it. I want to paint the mango. On your turn, your 3s allow you to move 1 additional student.
Yeah, I was actually going to
Were
do
you
that
gonna
one.
go for that one?
Yeah, so
No.
what is that painting?
It's the irises.
And who painted it?
Van Gogh.
And where's it at?
It is at the J. Paul Getty Museum. I don't know where that's at though.
I would Well, J. Paul Getty, I think, is an American, so it's probably an American. America.
Insult
All right.
Google is what you roll.
I rolled a 1. Not really wild about that, but let's go ahead and place a student here. So first
It's
player.
in California.
First player comes back to me.
Now
Roll
no.
my dice.
That's not the painting of flowers that I want to see. I think we have to go to Amsterdam for that.
Would it be New Amsterdam?
No. It's a hospital.
Let's use that 3. Move this guy here.
Okay.
Let's use that 3 and move this guy here.
You really want me to have greens, apparently.
You can have all the greens you want.
But
And then I'm
only
going
have
to do
See, if
4.
that was the case, if you could grab as many students as you had, I could get like 5 greens.
Well,
right
yeah.
there.
So I have
That'd be
majority in blue.
Yes,
I have
you do.
majority in yellow. And I have majority in red.
There you go.
So I want to
Paint.
do all that again.
Do it again. Oh, you
Do it
could.
again.
You might as well. Stock up on paint.
I could,
It's not a bad deal.
but I have a lot of paints at the moment.
You do, but you could like.
You know what? I am going to do it again. So I'm going to take a blue, anything but a green.
All right, you're out of dice.
I am out of dice.
All right. I got a 3. I can move 2 of your dudes now.
I know. So I really wanted that. Some of the actions that these paintings give
Kinda
you is
nasty.
pretty cool.
Could be nasty depending on what you really want. That one's a Van Gogh too. That one's at the Met. We'll go there. We'll do.
I do want to point out that it looks like he's shooting him in the butt.
Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, no, I'll move that guy there. And then we'll move that guy there. And you're done. So I'll be done. Reroll. I got a 1 again. Well, I guess I'm just gonna put it there.
Okay.
We'll do that.
First player goes to you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do some collecting of paints.
That's a sweet earth.
Round.
I don't like my patrons. They're not very patrony.
That sucks. I'm going to collect or gain any paint. And I'm done.
All right. Wow. Could not have gotten a worse roll, I don't
You
think.
can collect paints.
Yeah, of which I have one majority of.
You got 1. You can get a red.
Oh,
You
gotta
can
be
put.
faster than that?
You could use your 1 and put someone out.
I
Then
could.
Well, you'd still be tied, even if you went to green. You'd still be tied, and you'd be tied in blue and still under in yellow.
Well,
But it gets you on the
It's okay.
board better.
it does. You know what? I'm going to use one of those 4s. I'm just going to take an inspiration token.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Okay. 5 and 6. Yay. Gonna paint. This one is the burial of Atala. It is at the Paul Getty Museum in California. Now that I know that.
And who painted it?
Anne Louise Giraudet. I don't know, probably pronouncing that wrong. On your turns, you may place one of your paintings on the bottom of the painting deck to gain 3 paints of any color.
And you're returning.
I'm returning
Maple.
1, which is fine because I'm out. So we'll do that. And I could gain any paint if I wanted. No, I'll just hold off.
Oh, I got 1,
That's
2.
my second masterpiece, by the way.
Okay, that's not good for me. I don't really like this. Do I want to put any dudes out?
Mm-hmm. You wanna?
I don't know.
Well, you have a 1 and 2. You can put dudes out, and then you can collect if you can get majority.
Well, yeah, but that's still not going to give me a lot of majority.
No, because you could only get really majority in 1 because you'd be tied everywhere.
And you got 1 die left. You know what? I'm just going to burn that and get an inspiration.
You done?
Yep.
That rolled up. It's a 1.
It's a 1.
You know what?
An inspiration?
Do an inspiration.
All right, I got a 4 and a 5.
So you can collect and paint.
I could paint.
Got a lot of paint. What do you need, I guess, is really, what do you want to collect to paint something?
I'm going to spend my 5. I'm going to paint this one.
Okay.
So it's going to cost me 2 blue and 2 yellow.
Boating.
Boating.
You need to take one of your meeples back, too.
I do have to return a meeple, so...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just take this guy back.
Okay.
At the end of each round, if I have the most placed dudes, my
I don't
students,
think it says dudes.
gain 2 paints of the same color.
Ooh,
That's actually kind of a good one.
I'm not a dice, so it's still you if you want to collect or re-roll or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to roll. I rolled a 2. I think I'm going to get an inspiration token, but that'll be my 3rd, and I'm just going to get another patron because I don't like the patrons I have. Jeez. Horrible. Like no, I have horrible patrons.
That was me the other game. I just sucked at getting any good ones.
All right, next round.
Yep.
Wow. I think I'll use my 6. I'm going to take a yellow.
Okay.
I do like the fact that the 6s allow you to take any paint because then you don't have to worry about having majority. Go ahead.
Okay. Ooh. Let's see. We'll go ahead and.
Oh, did I return a dude?
Yes, I think you did. Pretty sure you did. All right, I'm gonna collect.
I know I did for that one. I don't remember if I did for that one.
I think you did.
If I didn't, I apologize.
It's fine. We're gonna go ahead and actually do that again. And then, yeah, you know what? We're gonna paint my 3rd masterpiece. So I get this bonus 4.
Doggone it.
And it's another Van Gogh. I kind of had to. So when painted, choose one painting from the face-up paintings and set it aside. Only you may paint it. Ooh. Let's see, is there something I could like easily paint in the next? Yeah, take that one. So I haven't painted it yet, but I can. And I have a 2, which I'll just hold on to.
Okay. Oh, gee whiz. All that.
You can gain any paint you want, because you're not the majority in anything but red.
I could.
If you want to try to paint something.
Well, I will just go ahead and I'll spend it to take take a blue.
Blue. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's interesting.
I'll pass to you.
Pass. Need a 5. I got a 5. Woohoo! I can paint it. So 2 and 2.
And you're returning the dude?
Yes, I do need to return a dude. Now you can go ahead and have the red.
Student.
On your turns, you may remove 1 student to gain a inspiration token. And this one is by Jules Bastien Lepage, and it is at the Met. Just a tidbit.
All right, I will go ahead and roll. Hey, I rolled a 5 and a 1. I'm going to use that 5, and I'm going to paint a painting. It's going to cost me 2 blue and 2 red.
You've seen that one, haven't you?
Yes, I have seen this one in person. This is the Paris Street Rainy Day. This is by Gustave Caillebotte.
Sure.
Paris Street Rainy Day in 1877. It's at the Art Institute of Chicago. But yes, I have seen that in person.
Have you seen this one in person, though? It's a Van Gogh.
I probably did, and I just don't remember.
I think this is the first time we've got all the Van Goghs out on the table.
I have to return a dude.
Yes, you did.
So I'll return this dude.
Okay, when painted.
When painted, I gain 1 inspiration for each of my looks like a sand dollar painting, which I have none, except for this one. So I'm only going to gain 1.
All right. So you still have 1 left.
Do I want to place? You know, I'm going to go ahead and roll it.
Yeah.
Oops. I'll keep it in. I get a 6. So I could take a painting or a paint of my choice. I think I'll take a green.
Okay.
Okay, so
we play one more round.
We play one more round. Megan is now first player. and I haven't been saying this, but my voting thinks is at the end of each round, if I have the most placed students, I gain 2 paints of the same color. Clearly I don't, because Megan's had almost all of her students out.
Yep. We will collect paint.
Yeah, you're killing me on that.
Am I?
Yeah.
Not really. And that's it.
Okay. Whoops.
See? Heck.
No, I just missed the thing. Okay, so I don't even remember what that one was when it hit.
I didn't see it either.
It don't matter.
2, 2, 3, 5.
I think I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna paint this one. That's gonna cost me 1 of each.
The combat of. Yeah, I can't read that from this angle.
This is the combat of Gior and Hassan.
Sounds French.
It's worth 4 victory points. It was painted by Eugene Delacroix in 1826, and it is at the Art Institute of Chicago. So I may have seen that. I don't know. When painted, place a student at each pile where you do not have the most students.
So that's like all of them.
So I don't have the most students there. I don't have the most students
What if
there.
you didn't have enough students to do that?
Students there. Then you would only be able to place as many as you could.
All right.
So that leaves me with 2 students.
2, 2, 3. You can move, or you can place, or you can hold off. That guy's student down.
Student down.
Student down.
There's a student down. I think I'm gonna hold.
Okay. Ooh, not really what I wanted. But on my turn, I can remove a meeple to gain a inspiration token. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that. So pull him back. And I guess I will put that guy there. I'll hold.
Okay. A 1, a 2, and a 4.
So you could collect a red paint still. It's the only place you have the majority.
Well, I know, but if I use one, I could place it there.
Yeah, you could, and then grab a yellow.
And I could place,
fine,
and
I'm
I
good
could
on
actually,
that.
you know what, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, why not? All right, I have 2 students left. So
Okay.
I'm going to place a student here
Yep.
and a student here.
Yep, so I get
And
the
that gives me a
majority.
majority, and then I will play my 4. It gets me
Everything
everything
but
but
blue.
blue.
There you go.
Thanks.
Alright. 3 and 1. Not what I want though. I guess. Do that and then. That's not what I want though.
Well, you have inspiration tokens. You can paint a
I
painting.
know, but
You can re-roll. You can re-roll twice. They're not worth anything at the end of the game.
no, okay, but like I had a strategy in mind, but like I can't do it now because I'm out of options. Ugh, I can paint a painting, but I want 1 more paint because I want to paint this one. I can't get another blue.
Yeah, that's a 12-pointer.
Yeah, I know, and it's a Van Gogh, and I really wanted it. I can't get it, so. And then I would get a VP because of that, so because of my patrons. Ugh.
You need 1 more blue, and you
I
only
need
have
1
one
more
more
blue.
die.
I know that's the problem. I am kind of at a loss here because I can't do anything.
Well,
Ugh.
yeah, here you go.
What?
No, because you'd have to re-roll it.
Yeah.
And re-rolling would cost you a
A-
token.
Yeah. And then I need, yeah. Can I only do this once? It says on your turns, you may remove 1 to gain an inspiration token. It doesn't say it's like once per turn. It says on your turns. So can I just keep doing that?
That's a good question. Yeah, so my thought is anytime you take a turn, you can do
Yeah,
that. It's just you're always removing one of your students. So
Which
you're,
is, I mean,
and then at the end of the
I
game, it
just
doesn't
really
matter that
want
much.
1 paint, so that's fine. So I don't want to do that, so I'll.
Wait,
I'm just gonna stop up.
Does it say you can do?
On your turns, you can remove 1 to gain 1.
Yeah, so you can remove 1 to gain 1. You can't just keep doing it over.
That's
and
what
over.
I just
I
asked.
don't think. No, I mean, like every time you have a turn. I see what you're saying though.
That's what I'm asking, since it doesn't say
Oh,
once
yeah.
per turn.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So if we're playing this wrong, please let us know. But I guess you can
So,
keep removing dudes
Yeah.
and take things, but that seems a little overpowered.
Seems really overpowered, but I don't know.
I'm gonna say you can do it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at BGG.
Yeah, there's nothing.
And there's nothing on the Joan of Arc card, so I think you can just keep removing dudes, and
Yeah.
which, like I said, seems really overpowered.
Yeah. Okay, so there's to reroll for that, which is move student, which I don't want. So, and then just reroll to get a 2, which I don't want because I want to collect. So then remove that guy, get 1, use it as a reroll, which is a 4, which is what I want. So because I can collect the blue.
Yep, which is the only thing you can collect.
And then I can paint a painting.
Yes.
3 and 3. There we go.
Put your 4 on your board just
Yes.
to show that you did use it.
Yes, I did. Okay.
All right, so that is the end of the game. We're going to total up the points, although I don't think it's going to matter. I think
Nope.
Megan's pretty much got this. And we will award the Painter's Palette Trophy.
All right.
Dad ends up with 33 points,
Yep.
and Megan ends up with...
I would have had 42 if this did not, if we played this wrong and I couldn't get it, I would have had 42. But then you add 12 to that, it gives me 54 points.
Yeah, so even if we played that wrong, it wouldn't have mattered. The outcome still would have been the
Yeah.
same. All right, so now let's get to what we think. All right, Megan, I will let the victor go first.
I'm just really happy I painted all the Van Goghs that are in this game.
That's the only ones?
There's 3, yeah. I counted. That was the first thing I did when we got this, and I saw there was Van Goghs. I went through and looked for how many. There's only 3.
So are those your favorite paintings in the game?
Yeah.
Now, are they favorite only because of Van Gogh?
No, I really just like the style. I mean, the irises I'm not as big of a fan of. I do like the bedroom. I really do like the wheat fields with all the long brush strokes and all. The iris is just, it's a good one, but it's not my favorite.
It would have been really cool if they had
The
the
sunflowers or Starry Night
or
the church.
Yeah. All the Doctor Who ones that were in the the Van Gogh episode.
Yeah. No, this was a game. I really like it. This was on my radar before Gen Con of 2019 to check out. Before we went, I was really excited to kind of get a copy of it, and I really enjoyed playing it. And we were saying it's kind of like an area control with plus, because you're also kind of almost doing set collection sometimes down here depending on your patron cards. I mean, you have to get so many resources. You want to kind of fight for the paint piles and all. There's a lot going on here, but it's also really relaxing, and you get to learn a little bit about the paintings.
It is very chill.
I like it. I think it's cool.
I don't know if it's like Bob Ross, The Art of Chill.
Maybe happy little trees.
But this is very much a gateway game. It's very very easy. The area control here it's kind of a nice little touch, especially the fact that you can use your die to move.
Yeah.
Use a 3 to move people, and you got the card that I really wanted to allow you to move 2 instead of 1.
I know we were saying, it's all right in a 2-player. I mean, we kind of go back and forth with it, but it'd definitely be tighter if you're playing with more than 2, obviously, because it goes up to 4. So if you're playing at least with another person, that's going to get a little bit trickier to get majority, I think.
Yeah, and we've not had a chance to play it with more than 2
No.
because Mom didn't want to play this.
No.
And since we are self-isolating, social distancing, we did not have that option.
But now it makes me
Unless
really
Sophie
want
wanted to play.
Well, I don't think Sophie wanted to play. It makes me want to go back up to the Art Institute when it reopens, when we're all out of lockdown periods and all, because I want to see some of these paintings. I mean, obviously the Van Gogh one's there, but there's some other really cool ones that I'm like, oh, that would be cool to see.
You know, these comments are very telling as far as this, because people are going to be discovering this video for the first time somewhere down in the future. They're going to be like, oh yeah, they did that when they were on lockdown, basically.
No, it's cool. It gives us some art culture into our lockdown experience.
I don't know if I actually have a favorite painting. I mean, these aren't really my kind of paintings.
I'm biased. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of,
see if I see anything that really...
Your realists.
I think this, the woman at her toilet.
It's just it's an interesting title.
I'm just looking to see if any, the Child's Bath. Yeah, I've seen that one. That's a very famous one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that one was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Well, it's in Chicago, so probably.
The croquet scene. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
2 men contemplating the moon. It's like, dude, see how big the moon is? Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were thinking.
Venice from the porch of Madonna della Salute.
That one's kind of cool.
Oh, I like this one.
That one's pretty.
This is the Salisbury Cathedral from the Bishop's Grounds. I like that one. That may be my favorite.
That one is pretty cool. But I feel like you like paintings of like churches and stuff.
I like the big buildings like that.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool. Yeah, that's not modern Rome.
Well, that one's like a dot one.
Lunch at the restaurant Fornaise. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that one's not.
Oh, a Sunday on La Grande Jatte. This is also one I've seen in Chicago, and that one is in Ferris Bueller. That's the one that Cameron's looking at, and they just keep zooming in.
Yeah.
House of Parliament at Sunset. Nah.
Well, that was kind of cool, actually.
Dressing for the carnival.
Yeah, I mean...
Yellow dancers in the wings.
I really like this one, The Distant View of Niagara Falls. I think that one's pretty. It's like a fall.
Oh, yeah, I do like that
one. It's
one.
like autumn.
Yeah, these two probably my favorites.
Yeah.
Dante's Bark. Milton dictating to his daughter.
Yeah, that one's a little
Centennial
creepy.
of Independence.
Milton looks a little weird there.
Yeah, the card players. Oh, that's a gamer in there. And at the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not just being partial.
And then that one guy getting shot in the butt.
Yeah.
And of course, Paris, like I said, Paris Street Rainy Day. I've seen that one. Yeah, these two would be my favorites.
Yeah. The patron cards, though, are actually paintings as well. They're portraits of different people, which are kind of cool. It's a nice touch.
Even though I had 3, they weren't really great.
What were yours?
So I got 1 victory point for each of my unused paint, which only got me 4 points. I had one that's worth 4 if you have the most unplaced students, which even I think before you started pulling off, I think I did because I had all my students back. And then 1 victory point for each paint that uses blue.
I had that one the other day.
And there's one for each of those. I like the ones. Let me find
the set ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I like this one here that shows that you're going to get set collection. You're going to get all these points if you have a certain kind. So that one's for romantic. There's one for the realism or realist.
Impressionist and post-impressionist.
Yeah. And they reuse the
patron.
The art on the patron card, which is not a big deal to me.
Yeah, mine was 2 VP for each of your paintings that where you remove the meeple. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 points there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that one was pretty nice. Because the only one that didn't was this one, but I was just really wanted that one because it was Van Gogh.
All right, let's talk components.
I really like the meeples. They're not your traditional meeples.
Yeah,
they have a little rounded head. You can see the paintbrush and their little palette in their hand. I think that's cool.
And there's also orange and black ones as well.
Yeah.
And they did stay away from the colors of the paint, which I thought was a good choice.
That was something I commented at first because I was like, oh, they're not your traditional, standard colors for player colors. But it makes sense. They're kind of muted though. So your paint pops.
I do like the player boards. I like the fact that it's these, it's functional and it's thematic.
Yeah.
So, and I like the fact that you've got your
spot.
Yeah, you've got your reference right there.
Yeah, you don't need a player aid card for it. It's all right there. Everything kind of tells you where to go, and it is really cool.
The inspiration tokens. My only complaint is they're not double-sided. But I guess this just gives you your silhouette, which is kind of neat in its way.
I mean, it could work.
That's not even a negative for me.
No, I mean, I like them. I think they're cool. They could have just done, a basic, generic, circular, square token.
Yeah.
Kind of having the silhouette's kind of cool. Just the different first player, the bonus points, those aren't double-sided either, but just so there's something different.
And they don't need to be.
No, they're cool. The little cylinders I think are nice too. They're not blocks.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit different.
Yeah, they're not bad. And they don't have to be anything major. So I don't have any issues with those. The dice I think are fine. They're rounded.
They like to bounce out of your tray.
Yeah. I don't know what I would have picked for other player colors.
Yeah, the other one's almost like baby food orange and then a black. It's kind of pumpkin-y.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. They're different.
No, they're not
They're not
bad.
your standard colors, which I think is kind of nice.
And the insert is...
The insert's pretty functional.
fine. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of baggies, but...
we did the baggies.
There's a place for everything, so that's not an issue there.
I do like the rule book. It looks like a brochure like you would get at a art gallery, which I think is kind of cool, just for theming purposes as well. So it unfolds and all. I think you probably showed this off in the unboxing, but it's cool. Just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not like an actual booklet, but take it around with you and you look at your paintings.
And the game's not that difficult, so it's really accessible to anybody. And like I said, it's a gateway game. You can introduce a little bit of area control here to non-gamers. The gameplay is relatively fast. Like we said, I think it would actually play better at 3 and 4 player count. But in 2 player, it's not bad.
Yeah, we played a couple, like 2 or 3 in an hour the other night, just because we were just going back and forth doing it.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is that you are just messing with one other person. But that's really kind of a minor thing. Like I said, the replayability, there was a whole stack of paintings that we didn't get to. So
there's a lot of paintings
I could see them having like another type of an expansion that has another
different era.
And then different patron cards as well.
You easily could,
because there's a bunch of other art that you could have in there as well.
I mean, I think they pretty much only use 4 or 5 museums where they've got some of these.
And that could have been a rights thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I mean, if you do get more rights, that would be kind of cool to do another expansion.
But this is a very relaxed game. And I mentioned to you the other day, I said it kind of feels a little like Splendor. You guys are familiar with that game, which I know you are, because you kick your butt at that all the time.
I'm really good at that.
Because you're collecting resources and then you're trading them in. So that's nothing new. I mean, there's a million games that do that. The fact that this is kind of, you're collecting paint to paint these paintings. You're not really painting them in a way, but
almost like gaining them into your collection.
It's fine. I
think they do try to match up the colors though, to like what the overall scheme is. It's not like, like this one, if this had red and yellow, that would be a little odd. But like, it is blue and green. You're kind of going for to make this one. So the color palette kind of matches. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. But
overall, I would recommend this game, especially to, like I said, the people that they're looking for just kind of a relaxing game.
If you really like art, it's
because
kind of cool.
Really, the only take that aspect is moving the players around, and that's not even that bad. So anybody that has issues with that in their game, I don't think they would have issues with this. But like I said, the fact that you're introducing a little bit of the area control introduces that to some non-gamers, that concept at least. The rest of this I think is extremely easy, so anybody can play it. Grandma can play this game without any problem. She might even like it. So
it's a fun game.
So I give it a good recommendation.
I like it. I think you should get it. It's a good game.
I keep on wanting to put an R in there.
Because it's like
Atelier.
Art. Is that what you're thinking?
I think so.
Art.
Atelier, the artist painter's studio.
You got art on the brand.
I do have art on the brand.
Which is appropriate.
So maybe we better just end the video now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.